everybody. You've all waited for a video on the Ford tractor engine. So what we have here is the little DPA pump off of that engine. This is a CAV DPA rotary pump. Not my favourite of pumps, I must say, but they're an okay pump. They are pretty easy to rebuild, and I have got a little kit here we're going to be putting in it today. So yeah, I guess we'll get into the video. So first thing I want to take off is this side plate here. This will give us an idea of what's going on inside the pump, where all of our timing marks are, etc. Then we'll move back to the vane, or where the vanes are. The vanes sit in this housing. We'll take off the vane cover. Then we'll move to the top cover. We'll pull that off. We'll do all the seals in that. And then we'll move to the inner housing, the inner housing of the pump, and we'll take that apart. Alright, let's get into it. Alrighty, so we'll take this inspection plate off. It's just a 5/16 spanner. There should be a gasket under here. There we go. There we go. So this looks like it's got a little check valve in it. Should be able to tell. You see in there. That's the check valve there. So we'll have to check that's all freed up. We have our rubber gasket. We have a new one in the kit, I think. Yep. There we go. That's the one we're looking for. Might have to cut this one out a bit more though, because it's not going to clear the check valve. We've got our timing marks here. I can see one of them, there's a G. We'll move over to the vane now. I'll just pull off my tape quickly. I've taped everything off so nothing gets into the pump, even though the pump wasn't covered when I got the motor. Everything was a bit open. Anyway, we'll pull this tape off. Audio. So that there, what we're looking at here, that's our fuel inlet. So that's fuel inlet that goes into this vane here, the vane cover, whatever you want to call it. And again, we've got 4 5/16 inch screws, American fine, whatever you want to call them, AF. You take them out. Top one's off as well. There we go. Overall, this is just going to be a small pull apart and put in what I can into the rebuild kit. I'm not going to be totally dismantling this pump. I'm only putting a seal kit in to the main areas where it will leak. So the front housing seal, or the front shaft seal. I'm not going to be pulling out any of the governor weights or anything like that. The governor weights are in the middle here, up where I'm pointing. Knock that vane off now. Looks alright. Now there is a, we have in here, these are all of our vanes in here. On there, I don't know if you can see that. Smells of diesel, so that's probably good. But anyway, up in here, this is our vane cover, and we have this, I don't know what you call it, a union or a screw. I think it's a union. I'll just call it a union for now. But we've got to take that off and then see what's all in here, because there is I think there's a plunger assembly all in here. And that's got a number of springs and balls that are all in it. and we need to check they all move freely, as that will limit our amount of fuel coming through. But anyway, we have our vanes here, so we'll pull them out. So yeah, that's our vanes. Alright, we now have this pump here, and we're going to be putting back together the vane, or the fuel inlet valve for the Vane pump. Just got to find all the washers first. So we've got one copper washer, goes on the main nut here. Just slip that on like so. Got a new gauze here. That's going to go onto this. Actually, got a bit of tarnish on that. I'll clean that off. Alrighty, so this plunger assembly is now all freed up and moving. So we can get our fibre washer for that and put it back on. I'll find it first. So here's our fibre washer. This goes up into here. Just slips on. Just don't want to bloody wreck it, that's all. Just want to put it on. It's paper washer. There we go, that's now sitting on there nice. Little gasket. And next to go on, well, that goes in first. I'll put that spring in first actually. Then we'll put our gauze on. It'll just make my life a bit easier by doing this. Then we put our plunger and spring. Well, this is a little cap for the spring. Put that on next, like so. And the whole plunger assembly goes in, like that. And we put our, just that's all lined up. Yep, that's good. Tighten this vane part down. Put our 15/16 spanner and nick it up. That'll be good. I'll re-tighten that when I put this vane cap cover back on. We'll leave this up here for now. And that's that. Okay, so I've now got the main fuel pump out. So this is a plunger. This was stuck in this housing here. It looks like it's had water in here at some point because there's a bit of rust getting around. If we look at these springs, there's a fair bit of rust on them. But yeah, we have our main, I don't know what you call it. Looks like, probably call it a thrower. Throws the plunger back and forth. It's not the correct terminology, but oh well. But yeah, I can sort of spin the pump over. It is, I did say it was seized, but I can now somewhat spin it over, which is pretty good. So what I'll do is I'll clean this up, put it all back together. There's a gasket like this, sat like that. There's also on this side a little copper washer that sat in there. So I'll put that all back together how it should be, and we'll leave that over there with the vane. Okay, so we now got our vanes rebuilt. So there's the little plunger assembly, which is now cleaned up, working quite well. So that's all good. So next we'll move on to this back housing here. We'll pull that up. Okay, so scratch that. I'll pull this top cover off before I pull the back end off. Now with these pumps, you've got to watch out which hole your spring for the governor is in. So I have 2 and 2, which is good. It's pretty easy to remember. If you are pulling one apart yourself, remember to take a photo of which hole those points are in. It's imperative. But yeah, we'll pull this top cover off the rest of the way, and I'll do the seals in the throttle shaft as well as the stopper shaft. There's also some other seals around here that need to be doing, and yeah, that's about it. Alright, so all we got here is the bare pump body, and I've got a couple of little parts I want to discuss. We've got this here, this little hook. This little hook at the end slots into our stopper shaft on this. It's a little, I don't know whether you'd call it a cam. The little pin in there slots into the hook, and as you pull it out, it acts like a cam and goes around like that. And then how that works is, right now it's in the stopped position. As you can see, we have our governing mechanism here, and as you can see, when the stopper is fully in on the tractor, which means it's delivering fuel, our governor is free to operate. However, when we pull the stopper out, what happens is it pushes back on the governor itself and pushes it to the point where it's fully forward, which means no fuel. So that's how that works. So I've got to get that assembly off right now because the governor itself is a bit sticky and needs a bit of a clean up. But other than that, that's about all that's in the top end that we need to do around this vicinity. Let's get into it. So first we need to pry these little tabs off of the screw. Just use a screwdriver to do that. There is new tabs in the kit, which is good. I want that. Pry those tabs off. Pry that one off. And that one. Okay, now we just unscrew them, like so. And then we have this here. This slots in like this. This is for our stopper. Also the little set screws. And we have our little locking tabs, which we get a new set in the kit, which is what we want. And then now all we've got to do is get the tabs off of this, what I believe looks to be a what is this? Probably 1132, I think. Right, we now have the main housing separated from the rear end. And it seems to be spinning quite nicely, freely. So does this one. Seems to be spinning quite nicely and freely, which is good. That's what we want. Now with this, we do have, there we go, there's a ball. Good amount of treble left on these balls. They feel nice. I can't really see why they're buggered, or if they are buggered, but nonetheless, this whole pump feels really nice. Feels good. I'd say it was just either stuck for sitting for so long or it's seized up from no oil. But it seems to be rotating and riding very nice. It's also minimum play, or minimal play. There's a little bit of play in there, but that's alright. It's, in my opinion, nothing really to be too concerned about. But anyway, yeah, we also have the governor assembly here, which definitely needs a lot of work. There's a lot of tarnish up in here. Yeah, I'm actually really surprised at how much tarnish is up in there. Up in the actual housing itself isn't too bad. Everything's pretty nice and definitely clean in here. But yeah, it all feels okay from what I can tell. But anyway, yeah, we'll get to it and start putting it all back together, I guess. Alrighty everyone, that is the main housing back together, and she is bloody free as. That's a really nice running pump. I'm very, very happy with that. Seems to be running very well. So we've got a new O-ring in there, new copper washers around the securing nuts, and then I'll do the same when I go to put all this back together. I'll put that pump on now, because now we know that the pump's all freed up and working. We can put all that back together. I may also consider putting the vanes and stuff back in, as well as the seal and the runner here. So I think we'll do that. Okay, well that's the pump with all the vanes back in. So the vane cover's back on, vanes are in, and the little prime pump with the plunger in it's back on. Now we've got to do is put our top cover back on, and then I'm going to put that check valve, make sure that check valve works, and then we'll give it a little bit of a paint job. Alrighty guys, I have skipped forward a bit, but I did end up getting the top cover back on. I also forgot to tell you in video, I did put a seal in where under this, I don't know what you call this, the rotor maybe. I did put a seal in behind there. I didn't film that though. And also with the top cover, I managed to get everything back on for that, as you may be able to tell. I think that's about it. As you may also be able to tell, I gave it a lack of a little bit of paint. It's not the best, so don't be hassling me in the comments about it. But it's the best that I could do, and I reckon it doesn't look too bad. I will paint this vane cover silver, as it is actually supposed to be silver, but for now I am just going to leave it. I reckon the pump looks pretty good for now. It's rebuilt, so that's really good too. But anyway, I guess that is the end to today's video of the Ford 3000 rebuild part 2. Hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.